Welcome to Conversing Over Drinks. It is your host, Cedric Turner, and we are back with another episode. And ladies and gentlemen, this is one of my favorite type of episodes because I always love it when I have a buddy on the episode, a friend, a compadre, an amigo, whatever language you speak. We got it on here. This is my buddy, Nathan Williams, and we're going to talk about his journey and his health issues and things that are going on right now. It's going to be an emotional episode, but it's going to be a fun episode. I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm not going to talk too much. I'm going to let Nate introduce himself, and then we're going to jump into it. Nate.
Hey, guys. So my name is Nathan Williams. I'm Cedric Turner's friend. We've been friends since college, so over 10 years now for sure. So it's been a long time since we've been friends, and I just wanted to get on here and to kind of tell you guys about my story, is what I got, some health issues going on, and how that has affected me and my view on life and everything, and things that have changed for me as well too. So,
well, that's great, man. And like Nate said, we've been friends since college. Oh man, 2010, when I first started at Northeastern State University. So it's been a minute. It's been a minute, and that's, if you know anything about me, that's rare. Like, I don't keep friends super long, but when I find good friends, keep a small circle. So I was like, it's always great to talk back to him. And Nate was one of the first people. It was Ryan, then Paul, then you. Like that's how it went. It was super close in that group, and it's always been a lot of fun. It's been a good time. I remember when you told us about the health issues at first, man, how sad I was for you, and just praying for you, man, and still praying for you and your wife and your kids. And it's just, so I don't know where you want to start your story, but wherever you want to start it, go ahead, man.
Well, I mean, let's just go back. Like, I've got my wife. I've got Crystal. She's great. She's an awesome wife. And then I've got two kids, Bryson and Olivia. They're 5 and 10 years old now. And so back when I was in 2023, in November, I was diagnosed with end-stage congestive heart failure. And the way that it all started is that actually September 30th of that year is whenever I first started noticing symptoms. So I was just helping a friend move one day, and I carried something not very heavy, just like a chair, up to the top flight of this. She lived on the 3rd floor, and I carried it all the way to the top. And then I noticed I was super, super short of breath. Like, I was like gassed. And you know me, I've always been in real good shape. We played pickup ball all the time in college. And even since after that, I've always kept in good shape, is working out every day. I was a guy that woke up at 5:30 in the morning every day and went to the gym. I would either go lift or I punch 45 minutes on the bag. So cardio and strength was my gig. And for me to be short of breath just climbing up the stairs was really, really odd. So after that, I ended up taking a trip to Chicago with my wife. And I noticed walking around there, I was real tired. Like, I was walking around with some, let's just say, older people, and I was falling behind because I was getting so short of breath. Yeah. And so I talked to one of them, and they looked at me and they were like, you know what, man, you probably have what they call walking pneumonia. I was like, that fits. Yeah. So I come back to Oklahoma, and I go straight to the doctor. And so they tell me that they do some x-rays of my lungs, and they say, hey, yeah, you have pneumonia. So they give me some medication, and I figure I'd be good in a couple weeks. So during that time, a fun thing that happened was I actually went and played flag football with one of my other friends. Now, at the time, I didn't know what was going on. And this has been a couple weeks this has been a week or so after I started the medication. So I'm like, I should be getting better. Yeah. So my mindset was like, I should be okay. So I go and I buy some cleats that day, and I go out there and play flag football with my friends. And Cedric, I killed it. I scored a touchdown. I shook some people. I made some good plays. I got an interception. The only problem is that I was gassed every single play. Yeah. But in my head, I'm getting better though, right? That's what I'm thinking, because the medication, I should be getting better. Well, after that week, I'm still actually starting to decline more. And I start noticing it's harder to eat. My stomach is having issues when I'm starting to eat. And during this time, I went to the doctor probably about another 2 or 3 times, and they still couldn't find out anything was wrong with me. So now I'm experiencing more symptoms. Like I said, I'm having trouble eating because what was happening was because of the congestive heart failure, the lack of blood flow to my body was causing some of my organs to not work correctly. So my stomach wasn't digesting right because of this. I was getting very, very fatigued, really, really tired. And then I started swelling it's called edema, where I got swelling in my ankles, my feet, and my abdomen because my body is not flushing out the fluid in my body. My heart isn't flushing out the fluid throughout my body.
Yeah.
So when that starts happening, I go to the doctor one last time, and this is probably the fourth time I've been to the doctor, and I say, hey, look, I can't do this. Like, this is getting too bad. She's like, well, we need to schedule a meeting with the actual doctor. This is a nurse practitioner I talked to. She's like, you need to see the actual doctor. So they scheduled for the next week. And then the next week comes by, and the day before I'm about to go back to the doctor, I feel so bad that I can't really even get out of bed at this point. So that's when I call my grandmother will watch my 3-year-old at the time, and I would take my son to school. And so I called my grandmother and I said, hey, can you come get my kids? Because I just can't do it today. They had watched me. They had been watching me slowly decline and stuff. And Crystal has too. But nobody knows what's wrong. And so they get there, they look at my legs, and my grandmother and my mom are like, hey, we're taking you to the hospital. Crystal had already left for work that morning.
Yeah.
So they take me to the hospital. Well, I actually tried to fight it a little bit. I said, no, I don't want to go. Because I got a doctor's appointment tomorrow. And so they're like, no.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Exactly. And then they told me, they said, hey, if you don't get in this car right now, I'm going to call the ambulance.
Yeah.
I'm going to take you. And I said, well, I don't want my kids seeing me loaded up in the ambulance.
Yeah.
So
I don't know how you trying to fight grandma and mom anyway. Like, that's a battle I'm losing any day.
It was a dumb thing, and I knew it was before I started. Yeah. I had to try it. You know what I mean? I didn't fight too hard. Now it didn't take too much.
I couldn't even get the dough out. I was like, yeah, she was shut your ass. I'm like,
yeah, because I was so bad. I'm sure I got a little bit of leeway besides getting just whooped up out the bed anyway. So. But I don't know why I tried to do that. I knew I wasn't going to win either. But they load me up to the car, and then I get to the hospital down here in Broken Arrow at St. Francis, and then they tell me when I get there, they're like, "Well, you have congestive heart failure," and I was like, "Okay, that sounds like, that's extreme. That's what I'm."
Sounds a little serious.
Yeah. That is exactly my response to the doctor. I kind of laughed and chuckled because I was nervous. And I said, well, that's extreme. Yeah. And she said, she looked at me. And because in my head, what I'm going through is just a month ago, the doctors told me that I had pneumonia. Now, a month later, you're telling me that I have congestive heart failure. Yeah. That's pretty serious from pneumonia to heart failure.
Yeah. And pneumonia is serious. Like, and I don't know why they weren't monitoring you more when they saw the pneumonia, because pneumonia could come from other things. So
I don't know what the deal was and why they couldn't figure out. In between that time, when I said I went a couple of times, I went to emergency, an ER doctor in Colorado twice that night. They ran all kinds of tests. Nobody could figure out what was going on with me. Nobody could figure it out. And so when I get there this day, then they told me that my ejection fracture, which is your heart pressure in which your heart is pumping blood out, was at 15%.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. I was like, what's supposed to be normally? Well, it's supposed to be normally like 55 to 60%. 65%. Yeah. And so I was like, 15 is pretty bad, but you know who I am. You know my mentality. I'm like, I'm Nate. I can come back from this. I can do what I'm told, you know what I'm saying? Buckle down, and I can come back from 15%. I can do whatever you do. So I don't know. In my head, I guess I have a little bit of ignorance towards this whole situation. And, ignorance can be bliss at sometimes. So I'm thinking, they're probably still going to send me home. I'll go on some medication, lay around for some weeks, and then be all right. And so they're like, no, we're going to keep you. I'm like, well, why? You know what's wrong with me? Like, just give me what I need and let's go. They're like, no, we need to monitor you. So my ignorance is that I still haven't grasped how serious this is.
Yeah.
And I know it's serious, but I'm determined, and I feel like I can come out of it.
Yeah. So before they gave you the diagnosis, like how fast did you start to decline? Like, was it a week? Was it a month? Was it like a couple days? Like,
so the exact date, September 30th, is when I helped that person move in 2023. I went to the hospital November 21st, and that was when I was diagnosed. So a month and a half is about how long it took for me to decline to a point where I couldn't get out of bed anymore.
Yeah.
That was how fast it was, which is, I mean, on your body, you know, that's a pretty quick turnaround to go from squatting 400 pounds, bench pressing 3, punch on the back for 45 minutes to I can hardly get out of bed and walk around.
Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't notice, Nate's strong. He just wanted to throw out those personal records to let you.
I didn't know if you guys if you picked up on that or not, you know. I didn't know if you had or not. I just wanted to read.
He just wanted y'all to know, man. He just wanted y'all to know.
My BMI at that
400.
I can do
300.
You know, we can go ahead and talk about BMI and whatever. Is
like,
there any?
I was like, hey, as long as you don't send that video of me attempting that deadlift, we good. We good.
I wasn't going to bring that up. But
just
if you
keep that on low.
If anybody has seen Avengers, when the whole group tried to lift up Thor's hammer, that is the equivalent of what it looked like watching this man try to deadlift. Was it 405 pounds?
Man, you know you lied, man. Come on, man.
It was like watching somebody trying to lift Thor's hammer with all of their might. It was a valiant effort, though.
I wasn't even trying hard, man. That was a warm up. Like my back hurt from that day. Like, man,
I'm sure it did. The only thing that bent.
Anyway, let's get back to the story, though.
This is about you. Well, we'll do a podcast just for you on that day. How that affected your life from here on out.
All about personal declines.
Yes, because I know that
it all happened from that deadlift.
I know that has changed you and groomed you into the person that you are today. That one moment. You have time.
That one deadlift changed everything.
You're a whole different man because of that. And I was a part of that. That's what makes me feel good. Like,
God.
You're a great man. I was a part of that. So that was how fast that had declined. And so after that, I had spent after a week being in the hospital, they wanted to do an MRI on me. And so when they did that MRI, they came back. The results were they got the look in my heart and everything like that. And the doctors walked in and said, hey, your ejection fraction is actually at 8%. I said, whoa, what happened to the 15%?
Yeah.
And they said, well, the MRI is more accurate. And in my head, this has just got more serious because 15% is pretty tough. I said, but 8%, that's pretty close to zero. Like, I don't know how tough it is to bounce back from that.
Yeah.
If I have a small chance with 15%, I mean, I got almost
you swing at that. Yeah. 8%, you out. Like the referee doing this.
That was an uppercut. That was an uppercut to me for sure. That one hit hard. And then the doctors almost enthusiastically said the great thing is that you're a perfect candidate for a heart transplant.
So what was your reaction to that? Like, I was like, because like everything is so serious right now, and I can't imagine what your wife is going through. I know the kiddos are too young to understand it. I know your mom and your grandma are probably losing it. Like, as men, we always know we have to be the rock. So in your head, are you like, bro, what the fuck? But on the outside, you're calm? Or is it, what's the reaction?
I think I didn't freak out outwardly,
Yeah,
but I was definitely on the inside. My whole world shattered in that
yeah,
moment. Like if you imagine yourself standing on a glass floor, I fell right through it. Uh,
yeah,
and that's how shocking that was and impactful that was. Because coming out telling me my heart pressure is at 8%, and that's definitely has you at end stage congestive heart failure.
yeah,
And then following up, not even 2 seconds later, the great news is you're a perfect candidate for a heart transplant.
yeah,
Um, they could have used some better delivery on that, but
yes.
that was really that shattered me. And so
Yeah,
I was pretty much in shock at that point in time. I didn't really react outwardly or anything. I just kind of was just like, okay.
yeah,
And probably how I looked to the outside, but on the inside, I started questioning a lot of things, you know,
yeah,
because it's like, okay, am I gonna I don't know what life's like with a heart transplant,
yeah,
what that takes. If you just pick up one at the store, I mean, not that
yeah.
silly, but you know what I'm saying? A lot of questions around how does this work? How do I end up getting
And I
on the list?
and I mean at this time, like, bro, you're 32 at this time. You've been married for what, 3 years at that time?
Yep. Been married
Yeah,
for 3 years at that time.
I was like you. I was like, you had your baby girl, you got your boy. Life is good. Life is starting to like go up that trend. You're seeing everything. You're seeing the
I'm
kids
running my own
graduate.
business and everything. So
Yeah, like everything is good, and then you get hit with this. Like it's like, is it a question? Like in your mind, are you questioning God right then? Are you like, what's going on? Like what I do? Like
not right that second, but
yeah,
I did end up questioning God for sure. But
yeah,
in that moment, that was very, very shocking. And so after she told me that, I just kind of sat there,
yeah,
and my parents were just sitting there looking at me. They didn't have much to say either. You can't say it's everything's gonna be okay because it's not. You
yeah,
know, so I had to sit there and digest that, and it was a good couple of days where I was just, I was upset. And
yeah,
after that, I was kind of by myself and everything for a little bit, which wasn't very often. But I did start questioning, God, why would you do this to me? I mean, I figure that I'm a pretty decent dude,
yeah,
and I'm taking care of my family. I go to church every weekend. I serve at the church. I pray. I read the Bible. I'm doing all this stuff, and I'm trying to be a good father, trying to get a great husband, and now I get hit with this.
yeah,
And for me, it's because I didn't do anything to cause it. The doctors could not figure out why this happened to me. I don't
yeah.
do anything to tarnish my body in a negative way.
Was
I
it like? Do you have any family history with heart issues or anything like that?
it's not genetic. It's not genetic at all. So now I don't have an answer why this is happening to me.
Yeah,
And I'm looking at God like, you're the only one that's allowing this to happen. If there's nothing else that happens, so why?
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Why are you doing this to me? And I didn't stay there very, very long.
yeah.
But, I
So,
knew you
so you're
can't
better
hold
than me. I'm still there. Like I'm still angry with him, but
right.
that's
And
a whole nother episode. Yeah,
that kind of stuff is all about choices. I had
yeah,
people to talk to me and stuff like that. I got on the phone with friends and stuff. They were praying for me and everything like that. One of the good nurses there is actually my mother-in-law's one of her best friends, and she was one of the nurses there. And
okay,
after they told me that, she came in and talked to me and told me about her having breast cancer and stuff like that.
yeah,
And she told me her whole thing and how she felt at the time and everything. And she just said I had to lay it at God's feet and
yeah,
everything and let Him handle it, because you holding on to that stuff, it doesn't affect you in a positive way at all. So
yeah,
at that point in time, you know, throughout this whole situation, I just had to make choices of
yeah,
how was I going to stay here, and it's easier said than done, but to take that first step is how you get started. And so I had to choose to say, hey, am I going to sit here and just hate God, or am I going to trust in the process and everything? Because feeding that hate is not going to do anything good for my mind, my body, or nothing like that. And there ain't nothing I can. I'm in a hospital. If I feel like I can't go punch on anything in there either, I can't let this out. I can't. There's nothing I can do to let it out anyway. So I'm just like, all right. So I made a choice to just say, all right, man, look, I don't like what's going on here right now. I don't like you right now. You know what I mean? But I'm still going to try and trust what you got going on and everything.
Which is always okay. Like, it's like, I was like, my grandma used to tell me all the time. She was like, God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers. And I never understood it until I got older. And I was just like, but then sometimes there's always that question. Like, you're like, but am I that strong, God? Like, why do you feel like I'm that strong? Like, why do you think I can handle this? Like, it is definitely something where you question, and it's something where you gotta just have faith and trust in them, and just trust that vision. Like my grandma always used to say, you want to tell God a joke, tell him your plans. And I was like, it's just so it was always It's always something that you got to do. But man, how did it affect your family and your friend? I'm like, how it affected us. So like, So like, how did it affect the family and stuff? Like, did the kids start to notice that this ain't the same dad? Like,
so
dad ain't got that same energy.
For when I was at home still and I was going through this, Bryson, my son, I would always play with him and stuff like that. And he noticed a decline in my activity is going outside, messing with him, wrestling around with him and stuff like that.
Yeah.
For sure. Going into, my daughter was just 2 and 3. So, I mean, she didn't notice much as well. But once I got to the hospital and stuff, well, we'll say Crystal, she noticed how I started just laying in the bed, because it got to the point where I was running my meetings and I would take pre-workout to get through my presentation, some clients and stuff, which was definitely not a great idea at all. But I didn't know what was going on at the time. And that was the only way I could get enough energy to do what I was trying to do as far as work. And I worked all the way until I could collapse, basically. And Crystal definitely noticed a decline in my activity and what I was doing around the house and all kinds of stuff. So that had her worried. And then once I got to the hospital, she rushed right away. Once I got rushed off work, whenever I was taken to the hospital, my parents called her and she rushed right off of work. So once I was there and stuff, and then she would just, she would just look at me and she just had this look in her eyes that just, she was just sad. I could definitely tell she was sad. And there was a lot of things, I'm sure, that she's told me later on that she didn't let on at the hospital. Like, she'd go home and basically cry every night and everything and break down. She would never do it in front of me. So she's strong. But it affected them very, very harshly. And I remember one day I was looking at my mom and I looked at her and I said, hey, I said, this got to really be real tough on you. She cocked her head at me and did like that. And she's like, why do you say that? I said, because you're watching your kid here and going through this. And I was like, and there's nothing you can do. There's absolutely nothing you do. Because what I did was I imagined if I was one of my kids and I had to watch one of my kids go through this. And I was like, that would be worse than me going through it right now.
Yeah, because you want to do everything to protect your kids. You want to do everything to protect them. You want to do, if you could take their pain away, you would take it away in an instant.
Exactly. So that's why I was like, this has got to suck for you.
Yeah.
And, man, I got to say this too. It was, you, Paul, my parents, my other friends and stuff like that. You guys were a big help in keeping my head up.
Yeah.
Because I got text messages from you, Paul, whoever, one of y'all on almost the weekly, daily basis.
Yeah, I tried to hit you up at least once or twice a week, man.
Exactly.
I tried to.
Exactly. And, and I know you were gone in Japan and stuff like that, but Paul and them, they came and saw me a few times and everything too. And my parents and my wife, there was not a lot of times I was left alone in a hospital and it was a great thing, but it was an annoying thing at the same time because sometimes I just wanted to be alone. But my mom, my dad, or my wife would be there during the day, staying the night, the whole entire time I was in the hospital, and that was the first time was 30 days, and we ain't even got to the meat of it yet. But the first time that I was in the hospital was for 30 days, and there was somebody in there every day with me. Basically, there was only hours that I was probably left alone sometime, and that's because they had to go home and take care of themselves. And but that was an awesome help. I wasn't allowed to stay in a dark place for very long with all of you guys, even if I wanted to be. I wasn't allowed to stay there because of everybody reaching out and talking to me and everything like that. And so
I was like, and we got great friends like that, man. I was like, I remember a time in college, like Paul had to remind me of it. I told him not to send me that dumbass shit, but he sent me T-Roll. He's like, T-Roll, and I was like, bro. I was like,
we came up here and riding around the town,
bro. I know.
Hello.
I'm like, don't remind me of that, bro. Like,
we came up here and rode around the whole small town of Tahlequah playing that song for you.
Which I still don't understand. Tahlequah being a small town, I don't get it. Like, it's like technically it's a huge town. Like it has two 6A. It has a 6A school there. It has a 3A school there. It has a 2A school there. It has a college there. I'm like, bro, why is this a small town? Like,
it's like it's a small fish tank with a bunch of fish in it. Just crammed into it. Yeah,
and I was like, but we had great friends like that. Because I remember even after Don died, and I went to my dark place. Paul came up like 2 days later after Don died and was like, "Hey man, let's go golf." And I was like, I don't want to go golf. He's like, "Man, get your clothes, bro. Let's go golf." Yeah, it's just good time to vent. It was just good time to vent. So I understand our friend group has always been super close when it comes to stuff like that. And like, so man, like I said, bro, I was in Japan at the time, but I was worried about you. I was thinking about you. I know my text came at weird times because of being in Japan.
It's all good.
But,
all good.
Yeah, but it was like, man, it's been a journey, man, and we done talked about those first few nights. We done talked about everything. So let's talk about what life is like now. Like the thing you have to wear all the time. I don't know what it's called, so you have to wear that. Is it 24/7 or is it just?
Yeah. So I'll explain how that came about too. So I'll use the shorter version. So the first 30 days I spent in the hospital, they eventually sent me home on December 19th. They sent me home, so I'm home for Christmas, and they said they put me on 24/7 IV drip medication. So they said, "Hey, Nate, because you're so young, healthy, and strong, that's the only reason why you're alive right now as well, too. And we basically hope that we can re-strengthen your heart because you are still so young, healthy, and strong. So we're going to put you on this medication to help with that." So they put me on 24/7 IV drip medication. So I had to wear IV 24/7 and flush it out and all that stuff every day on a daily basis. And I did that for 3 months. They said that's how long it would take for the medicine to maybe take effect. So to be honest with you, that was the worst time for me.
Yeah.
Because the whole entire time, my heart pressure was still at 8%. And I was basically bedridden the whole entire time. So wife would talk about how she'd leave in the morning. I'd be in the bed. She'd come back and I'd still be in the bed. Obviously, I got up and did a little bit and everything. But during this time, I lost about 25 pounds because I couldn't eat because my stomach was shutting down. And I was basically surviving on like protein shakes and applesauce and stuff like that. And so that was probably definitely the worst time throughout this whole thing. Well, after that, I go back to the hospital and they tell me, hey, that didn't work, mate. And I'm like, obviously that didn't work. And so they go ahead and say, well, you still need a heart transplant. But because we don't think you'll live long enough to get a heart transplant, we suggest, right.
Why say it like that?
Right? Like, hey,
you ain't got to hit me like that. Be like, hey, look, like, you ain't going to live that long. So we need to get this. Like, my wife here, bro. I was like, oh, my fault, bro.
I'm sorry. He ain't gonna make it that long. That's basically
he ain't gonna be around.
Yeah,
need to get ready for this.
Exactly. And beforehand, they say that they suggest getting this LVAD. Well, the LVAD is a left ventricular assist device, and what that does, what it is a pump that they put in your heart that has to be connected to 24/7 power source, and that's pumping blood for you throughout your body. And so I had they had already kind of warmed me up to the idea a little bit, and I refused. And now I'm getting to the point where I'm so broken down and everything. I sat down with somebody that had one. They made me feel a little bit better about it. It still was terrible, but it was a means to, getting back to life instead of laying in bed every day, slowly dying. Yeah. And so they suggested that. And so they did what they call a right heart cath. It's where they go through your neck and they put in a device in your neck that goes down to your heart and measures the pressures in your heart. They said, if we do this and the numbers are bad, will you be willing to get an LVAD? I said, yeah. And so we go in there, they do it. You're awake the whole entire time. They just numb you up real good and almost put you to sleep. Yeah. It's terrible. It's terrible. And so I'm under the gurney and everything. They got something. They did it. They said, Nathan, your numbers are terrible. Are you willing to get an LVAD? I said, yeah. So they take me out, roll me in the room. The next week later, I go in for open heart surgery. So getting an LVAD requires open heart surgery. They cut you open. They put this pump in your heart. Then you have what they call a drive line. That drive line comes out of your stomach. And I'll show you just to see. So I have this drive line that comes out of my stomach. So that is connected directly to the pump in my heart. And I wear this backpack that the cord goes into that I am hooked up to batteries 24/7 to be able to power that pump. Now, when I go home, when I lay down at night to go to sleep, I have to hook up to an adapter that's plugged into the wall. So I have to be connected to something 24/7. So that's why you always will see me with this bag on. I do have a shirt. I call it my sport mode. I have a shirt that's like a holster shirt that I put the batteries inside and I put a shirt over it. So whenever I go play basketball with my son, or not like we used to, I can't do that anymore, but I'll play basketball with my 10-year-old, or I'll go to the gym and work out. I call it my sport mode. Yeah. So yeah, that's what the bag is and what that all entails now. And yeah, so said life after that.
Yeah. How's Crystal taking this during the process? Like, how is she adapting to, like, basically kind of having to be a caregiver for 3 people now?
One, she was kind of for the LVAD because she was watching me. I was against it for a long time. She was watching me day in and day out, not being able to do anything. Yeah. And obviously this help affects her a lot too, because she's doing everything by herself at this point. Yeah. Kids at school and everything like that. And it wasn't just like, to make him better so he can help, but just watching her husband not be able to do anything. She's like, this is no kind of life. You know, she's like, if you get the LVAD, it does give you back life, and not the life that you want or you're going to be satisfied with, but it's going to give you a lot more than what you have now. And so for her, at this point now, I have bad days where I'm still fatigued and stuff like that, and she'll go ahead and handle up there. But I still do my part as taking care of the kids, working, enjoying them, enjoying my wife, taking her out on dates and all that stuff. Do that part. with her, as far as caregiving goes, the only thing she's got to do, which isn't easy, it's not terrible, but it's not easy. But twice a week, I have to have my bandages changed. So at this point now, I can't take showers every night, because if you take showers every night, you got to change the bandage within 30 minutes. I only got a certain limited supply of bandages that I get per month. And so I take birth baths most of the time. So twice a week, I take regular baths. And on those nights, she changes my bandage and stuff as well, too. And you have to be, it's not nothing crazy like you got to go to a school or something like that, but they train you on it and everything like that, because there's a risk of infection that could obviously be if she didn't do it correctly. So she's been doing that. And so twice a week she does that and everything. So, and that can be frustrating sometimes. But other than that, she's, she's been, as far as everything else goes, is great. So I'm doing all right now. She's taking care of me good and everything. So, yeah.
That's good, man. That's good. That's good stuff. So now that you're in this process and you're still kind of waiting on, I guess, a heart donation and everything. So how does this affect your work? And for the people who don't know what you do for work, like, kind of let them know that as well. But how does that affect the travel, the meetings, the constellations, all that stuff? How does that affect that?
So, I'm currently on the heart transplant list. I've been on it for about 1.5 years now. And so with the way that works is, I just got to wait for basically my turn. They run you through a level of 1 to 6, with 1 being the highest priority on the transplant list, with the need for that. And I'm at a level 4 because I have this implanted in me. So I'm just waiting for a match, the right heart, and height and weight and all that stuff. And whenever it's my turn to get a heart transplant. So we're just waiting on that. With work, I've been able to slowly get back into work. So I own my own business. It's called Prime Capital. We're a financial education business. We teach people about money, on how to protect your money from ever losing due to the market downfall. So this is the way that you save money. You never lose a dime due to the market. And also how to create a lifetime tax-free retirement for you and your loved ones. And then we also teach about living benefits, which I'll tell you a little story about that as well too. And so with that work, I was able to ease back into work that way. Luckily, I don't do something that's really, really strenuous on the body or anything like that. At the time when I was coming back, standing and speaking for 45 minutes, because I do a 45-minute class on how money works, that was still like kind of a little bit of a tough gig for me. But through time, I was able to condition myself enough to be able to get back into doing that and everything. Running meetings and stuff, I can get worn out real easily throughout the day after a couple of meetings. One of my business partners and my wife got mad at me the other day, a couple of weeks back, because they would say I was kind of fussing about how tired I was. Like, man, I don't know why I'm so tired and everything like that.
Sure.
And my wife was like, after you run a few meetings after the day, you're like gassed every single day. Don't you notice that? And I'm like, no, I'll never notice that. She says, you act like you know your limits all the time, but look at you. And I said, I know my limits. And she's like, what are your limits? I said, you go until you can't go no more. And that's how you know where your limit is. That's your limit. She's like, no, Nathan. She said, your limit is where you can find a balance to where you can still function and accomplish what you need to accomplish, but you don't incapacitate yourself by the end of the day. I said, oh, I never knew that. I thought it was the other way around.
Nah, don't tell her I said it, but I agree with yours.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? And
I'm a country boy. I'm a country boy. We keep going.
Exactly. That's a mindset that certain people have. Not everybody has, but a lot of people have that mindset. And a lot of the people I hang out with, you friends, other business owners and stuff, they think the same thing. Like you just go until you can't go no more. But
Yeah.
the truth is, in this condition, in this situation, I should not do that.
Yeah.
So I've been working on it, um, failing at it, but I've been working on finding a better balance. But I've been
Yeah.
failing. I'll be honest, I've been failing at it. So I'm probably gonna get scolded by somebody next week for sure. And so with that being said, yeah, I've been able to ease into business and get back to working with clients and working and teaching my classes to the public and everything like that as well too, which has been really awesome to be able to have a job where you can leave and not work for 9 months and then you can come back and ease on into it.
Yeah.
So that was a great benefit for what I do and how I can still help people and everything as well too.
Man, that's cool, man. So talking about Crystal, because we brought her up a few times, man. How did this whole situation how did it shape? How does this experience shape your relationship? Like I can't imagine what she had to go through, and I can't imagine what you were thinking. But how did it shape it? Did it make it crazy strong? Were there times where you were both just kind of fatigued? Like what? How did it shape?
It definitely made us stronger. I can't say that it didn't make our relationship waver. You know, um, I was in a place where everything was so messed up. I asked her. I looked at her after they told me and diagnosed me with end-stage congestive heart failure and told me that you need a heart transplant. And I looked at her and I was like, "You gonna stick around, right?" And she looked at me like I was just a fool. She was like, "What the heck is wrong with you?" I was like, "Man." Later on, I told her, I said, "Man, I just needed something that was concrete." I said, I was walking on shifting ground. My balance was on life. I said, I just needed something that was concrete. And that's why I asked you that. I really didn't think she was going to leave or nothing like that, but I just needed to hear something solid at the time. And so, she's been there the whole time. She's been the rock. She's been holding down at the house for the kids and everything. She's been taking care of me. She pulls my reins when I need to be pulled on my reins, even if I don't like it. She'll pick me up when I need a little bit of pick me up there, here and there. So it's definitely strengthened our relationship. And when I don't want to close on this right now, but I want to say honestly, through God, my wife, my family, and everything, life has been great since this has happened. The only thing that I could say is wrong with my life right now is just straight up my heart. That is it. Everything else, my relationships, my friendships have gotten stronger. My family ties have gotten stronger. My relationships have gotten better. Finances has been great. I haven't missed a beat during this whole entire process on anything. Uh, you know, I haven't been. I've made. I've been more determined to enjoy life and spend time with my family after this event. So everything is being. My cup is completely full. Just my heart is empty. No pun intended. You know what I'm saying? That's about it, though. So,
man, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. And like you said, you didn't want to end it on that. So, before we end it, what is something you would want the listeners to take away from your journey, from your story, from your relationship, everything that we've talked about today? Like, what's something you would want the listeners to take away from that?
I really would want to let the listeners know that your life is all about the choices that you make. And it isn't saying not everything that happens to us is our choice, but it's our choice on how to handle it and how to respond to it. So when you are in those dark times, you know what I'm saying, it's your responsibility and choice to look for the light. Okay. And when you look for the light, and if you see any type of light, I don't care how small it is,
Yeah.
It is your responsibility to take a step towards that light. And that's how you find yourself bathing in all of God's graces, the positivity of friendship, positivity of mindset is by taking those steps towards the light. And that's what it takes whenever you're in a dark time. All of us have had something happen. And like you said earlier, Grandma said that, God only places on his strongest warriors in certain situations. We all have some scenario that has affected us deeply and affected us in a negative standpoint. And your scenario could be easy for me, but tough for you. This scenario could be easy for you, but tough for tough for me. It doesn't matter. It all affects us differently. But during those times, that's what we have to remember is just taking the next step towards what we want, which is, all of us want love. All of us wants friendship. All of us want positivity. All of us want to be some form of happiness. And it's your responsibility to seek that stuff out, no matter what is placed on you. For me, this whole scenario has been. I told you, I did not like God. Was not a fan of him at the time when this all happened. I'm taking it more and more that this journey has been placed on me. Not that it just happened to me, like somewhat of a badge of honor to wear. And I think my story is helpful for others going through their situations to say, hey, if he can do it, I can do it. Whatever you're going through, whether it's a health issue, maybe it's something going on with the death in the family, or a financial crisis or something like that. But just to let you know that, hey, you can still make it out. You just have to make the choice on how you want to respond to your situation. And so that's what I want to talk about.
That's great. That's great, man. That's great. And guys, like we always do, I can't say always. This is something new that we started, but we're going to end with rapid fire questions, man. It's just a fun thing that we do. We just ask 3 random questions and just get the answers, get a couple laughs in, and then end the episode nice and wholesome. so first question is, man, being a 90s baby, what was your musical genre that you listen to the most growing up and even now?
I mean, I like rap a lot, but I probably would listen to R&B. I probably would say that's what I really like to listen to is R&B.
Heck yeah. Who's your favorite artist right now?
Oh, man. Don't ask me that.
It could be a past artist. It could be a present artist. It could be whoever, man. Just whoever you be listening to the most.
Shoot. Who I just listen to? I used to listen to the Blackstreet all the time, man.
Blackstreet?
Yeah. It's just I still pull it up and listen to it now. I introduce my kids to it and everything.
Heck yeah. I was like, my old school group had to be New Edition. I grew up on New Edition. Mm-hmm. I said my old school group was New Edition. I grew up on that. My auntie, she loved her some New Edition.
Yeah.
She used to hate it when I told her Bobby Brown couldn't sing. She said, like, that fool can't sing. I was like, he's just a performer. I was like, he ugly as hell too. She's like, shut your ass. I was like, my little bad.
Talking about yourself right now. I mean, no.
Hey, yo, whoa.
I apologize.
You look better than no.
This is your podcast. I didn't. Can we scratch that?
I would never let Whitney ruin me like that.
That's true. That's true. Just go ahead and edit that little comment out, okay? Yeah.
But favorite, I was like 90s babies, man. We kind of grew up in the golden era of anime, man. So what is your favorite anime?
From back then or from now?
Now, back then, it don't matter, man. We grew up in the era. Like the anime blasted when we were kids.
Demon Slayer is pretty tight right now.
Demon Slayer?
Demon Slayer
man, right now. A lot of people have been telling me to start watching Demon Slayer.
I had a little, when the movie came out in theaters, I had a little group of nerd friends that we all went to the movies. It was my idea. So it was about 4 or 5 of us, and we watched it. Ask Paul, he's on it now. He's hooked now.
I was like, because it was wasn't it your house we came to watch? What was it? Which DBZ movie was it?
Was it Dragon Ball Z? Broly?
No, it was a movie. Like it was one of their movies. It was either Frieza or it was Broly.
It was probably Broly.
Yeah, I was like, I remember coming to your house to watch it. It was like a gang of us because all of us. I was like, hell, I got Goku tatted on the forearm, so you know how I feel.
Yeah.
I was like, but no, my favorite anime will forever be Dragon Ball. It's always going to be that way. I was talking to Ryan about this the other day, and I was like, fights and character development, Dragon Ball Z was cool. I was like, but Dragon Ball had the best storylines because there was no like super power ups. It was just Goku going through life and Goku having to struggle through some stuff, and you got to see that development and character growth and everything. Krillin growing, Yamcha, Tien. You got to see all these guys. You got to see Goku's humble side, but you also got to see the beginning of Goku when he was a straight thug and he was just burking people to Burko. Like it was, I was like, so you got to see all of that development. So like, Dragon Ball is low key. I favor Dragon Ball more than Dragon Ball Z. Like I like Dragon Ball Z because I just like the evolutions. I like the transformations and everything. If you ask me what my favorite saga in Dragon Ball is or Dragon Ball Z is, it's gonna be the Frieza saga because there's no moment like Goku snapping and going Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
I was like, and then the way he treated Frieza was hilarious. Like when he just grabbed Frieza by one head and was just backhanded him like this. This head is wide. I was like,
that was good.
I was like, he was a savage. All right, man. Last question, man. You said you played basketball with us. It felt more like you were playing football. So, I was like, my ribs still sore.
Hey, I get physical out there, boy. Make sure you stay away from me if you can.
Every time this fool got a rebound, I just went the other way. I was like, I ain't even trying. Just balls everywhere. I was just like, hey, chill out, man. This ain't the 80s. Like,
get off me, man. You gotta get off me.
Like, goddamn. I was like, no passes. I had to smack him down. I'm like, damn, bro, I can't stand him. Why you throwing it so hard?
Hey, remember I said I could squat 400 pounds. I could bench press 300. That was out there. I brought that out there on the court. Court. You know what I mean?
But besides that, what was your favorite sport growing up, man? Like, where was you like, this is my area, man. This is peace.
Man, I can't say I liked it that much, but I was pretty decent at track, man. I can't just say I was just like I loved it because I've questioned a lot of times, why am I out here running?
Man, that ain't the question, man. The question is, what did you love, man? I was like, I felt that way about basketball. I was way better at football. I was like, but I love basketball. So,
okay. Let's just say, let's say football then. Let's say football.
Yeah.
I love playing football.
All right.
All that stuff, yeah.
Yeah, it was a fun time, man. It was always fun. I was like, me and Paul had other conversations many a times. He's like, man, I was like, bro, football, I was different. I was like, basketball, I just loved it. I was like, that's what it was. And I was like, the older I've gotten, I've been way more humble with myself when it comes to that. And I'm just like, hey, I was like, basketball was, especially when I started coaching, I would tell my kids, I was like, basketball was not my best sport. I was like, it was not. I was like, it was third. I was like, football was 1, track was 2, basketball was 3rd. I was like, but I loved it. I was passionate about it, and I just wanted to get better with it. And I was like, and that's for somebody that thinks like I think. That was fun to me because it was a challenge every single day.
Yeah,
like, football got boring because it wasn't a challenge. Track got boring because it wasn't a challenge. Like, but basketball, there was never a time where I stepped on the basketball court and I was like, I'm the best dude here. Never a time I thought that. Like, that dude can hoop. That dude can hoop. Like, I'm going to have to play. Like, there are many times on the football field where I walked out there and I'd be like, man, who going to try? Like, right. Like, it was a different feeling, man. But heck no, man, I love it. The rapid questions always end with some laughs and some hilarity. So it has been great having you on the show, man. I love having you. I love having guests on the show that I have relationships with because They're just more natural. They're a lot more fun. Time kind of flies in those conversations. So it's always great having you on the show, man. Guest, if you want to get in contact with Nate and you want to hear more about his story, if you want to just reach out by email and say that he meant something to you in this episode, I'll have all this information in the thumbnail on all of our streaming sites, from Apple to Spotify to YouTube, so you can watch the full video. Be looking out for clips, because clips will be coming soon, especially since I'm at home on injury reserve because I can't do nothing with my thumb. So I'll have time to do this a lot more than what I usually do. And guys, it's been a great episode. I want to thank you guys for listening. This has been Conversing Over Drinks with your host, Cedric Turner. Peace. I'm out.
Appreciate it, man.
What's going on? We had to jump back in because we forgot to talk about one of the biggest things in this episode, living benefits. Nate, go ahead, tell them what that's about.
All right. So when I was going through this whole situation, one day my mom was sitting there watching me while I was in the hospital, and I was on my phone. I was like concentrating real hard. And I don't know if you guys have ever experienced anything, but whenever your heart is failing and stuff, you have a lot of brain fog, and it's hard to focus and do things like that. But I was concentrating real hard. My mom was like, "What are you doing on your phone?" And I told her, I said, I was calculating my bills at home because I got to see how long we're going to last with me not working now. And so I had money saved up and everything, and I was just kind of doing some minor calculations. And she looked at me and she said, "Nathan, you have living benefits." And I said, "Oh, yeah, you're right." Well, one of the things that I do for my job, my company is called Prime Capital, and we teach people about living benefits, which is basically life insurance that you can accelerate the death benefit on to use as extra money for paying your hospital bills, getting a second opinion with a doctor, paying your home bills, anything you need. You can use it for whatever you want, and it's all tax-free. So during that time, I was able to actually access my living benefits. In this particular situation, one of the triggers are a major organ transplant, which falls under the critical illness. I was able to access 75% of my entire policy to be able to take care of anything that I needed at home or doctors or anything. And so with that money, what that did was it eliminated a whole section of stress, because when you're in this type of situation, you're sitting there worried about my biggest concern was worrying about my kids and my wife and making sure they're not sitting at home with the lights off, eating ramen noodles for dinner, lunch, and breakfast. So I do that now, nothing against that, but you know what I'm saying?
To all my Japanese people that are listening, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it. Okay. I'm talking about the Walmart packets. I don't know if y'all have, Anyways, we'll continue on that one. Making sure that they can have food, period, to eat at home. Okay. So doesn't matter what type at all. Okay. So that was my biggest concern while I was laying in the hospital. And for someone that doesn't know what's to come next as well, too, I didn't know how long I was going to be in the hospital. I don't know when I was going to go back to work. I don't know what was going to happen next, especially after that diagnosis of, hey, you need a heart transplant. I didn't know what was coming next. I didn't know if I was even going to be alive or not. I don't know. And so going through that in my head was very, very stressful at the time. And it's hard to heal while you're stressed out. So having living benefits eliminated a whole section of stress other than me focusing on what I need to do to get better and come out of this. So I didn't have to worry about anything at home. So with the living benefits, I didn't miss a beat on my house payment, my car payments, my kids eating. I didn't have to worry about any of that. And that allowed me to go ahead and heal up and then come back, because what happened was the whole entire time I ended up being not working for an entire 9 months. And when you're going through something like this, is that the time that you really want to lose your home? No.
Yeah.
And living benefits and me doing what I do for others now allowed me to be relieved of stress, and continue to move forward and not miss a beat on anything.
Yeah, man, that's great, man. And again, to our listeners, if you guys want to know more about that stuff and you want to talk to Nate more direct, his information will be in the thumbnails, and we'll have all that information for you. And like I said, once again, this has been your host of Conversing Over Drinks, Cedric Turner, with my guest, Nathan Williams. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. If you like what you're seeing, like, share, subscribe. Do everything you can. You want to comment. If you want to be on the show, let me know. Hit me up. But this has been your host, Cedric Turner. Peace. I'm out.